Three, two. All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever you're joining us from today. This is EasyFX Academy, and today is going to be, being Monday, our market review session. It's been a couple of weeks on here with you guys, but we're back, all right. And we'll just be going into the charts very shortly, very briefly, and we'll just together analyze the charts and just sort of have an overview of what exactly we should be expecting to happen this week. All right. So without further ado, let's just go straight into it. I will just look at the DXY chart quickly. All right, we'll just look at the DXY chart quickly just to have an idea of what exactly we expect from the US dollar itself. And then we'll come to the currency pairs. We might just do about a few currency pairs and just have a sort of overview on them. So let's start from the 4-hour time frame for the US dollar. I think right now, overall we still look fairly bearish. And I think right now, all right, this is what I'm referring to right now. So I think right now, let's come to the 2-hour time frame. Let's clarify that. So I'm just going to mark up a few points that I feel, we should at least take note of. All right, we've seen this break already. I think this week we should see some bearishness initially. All right, today's still Monday. All right, so we should still see some level of bearishness on DXY. So I'm expecting dollar to take a bit of a dump, all right, before continuing, maybe for a retracement still. But let me just see if I can mark out some of the pivot regions that we might be interested in looking at or interested in having at the back of our mind. All right, that one also sort of aligns with where we have a previous gap. So let's just have this down. Alternatively, because the way I'm looking at this right now, this is sort of like a high here. Call this a low, a high, right? And then this is another low here, meaning that this region here would be what we'll be looking at looking out for as a break of structure. And if this is where we have our break of structure, then we should be looking out for the origin of that move that broke structure, right? So if we're looking at the overall swing as it was from that high to this low using our Fibonacci retracement. So anywhere before here seems fine. Preferably I would like to maintain this region, which is around the 76.4. All right. But for the meantime, I'm trying to look at what we have more immediately on the chart for the dollar. I think we should still watch out for this eye. This eye hasn't been taken out yet. You can see that around that eye, we also have a very, very valid order block sitting around there. All right, and though the way I'm looking at it, because that order block came after the void. All right, you can see that currently price is inside the region encapsulated by that order block, but we are still having price struggling there. So we're seeing some level of consolidations there. So if that point still ends up holding, then definitely we'll see a continuation for the drop. If not, I think it's easier for us to watch out for something towards this end, possibly a break and retest of this region, and then we see price come here, all right, before we continue towards the overall down move, right? For the overall down movement rather, or the overall bearish continuation. Did you get that? So for right now, for this moment, I think we can still watch out for this to play out. Even though what I'm currently seeing on the chart right now still looks to tell me that this zone might hold up, but this is just a contingency in case the zone doesn't get to hold up. Because already for me, when I get to see price have sort of a reaction like this, where you're having to see a lot of consolidations inside that order block, it gets to give me the vibe that that order block might not end up holding up, to its word. So basically, this is what I'm watching out for currently on the dollar. I'm expecting some level of strength, even though overall we are bearish. I'm expecting some level of strength this week. All right, so yeah, I think this is something that we can just have at the back of our mind. This is something that we can still use for the meantime. So I hope that is clear for DXY. We might still maybe see a bit of a drop. If we're lucky enough, right, let me remove this, let me make it a bit clearer. If we're lucky enough, we might just get something like this. All right, so possibly still come back to the trend line and just respect that trend line, possibly give us another touch, and then we have price continuing towards the upside. So I hope that is clear for the meantime on DXY. That's just what I expect for the US dollar itself. So let's start from gold. Let's go to gold straight away. Let's go to gold straight away. This is gold. Let's start on the daily time frame. Let's go to the daily time frame first. All right. So this gold on the daily time frame. And from what we can see here, for a long time, gold has been majorly bullish, and I think we should still get to see gold continue bullish overall. But let's see what we have as it relates to the more immediate structure on 4-hour time frame. I think right now on gold, we might get to see a pullback, a bullish pullback again. So you can see a sort of correlation between what we just saw on DXY, also on gold right now. I'm sure we'll possibly see it on AD, USD, and some other guys, USD pairs like that. But we can still see that sort of consolidation at this moment. Now, note again, today is just Monday. All right, you still have 4 more days in the week for markets to still give us, some crazy moves as it was. So we should just be patient. All right, we don't try to rush the trade. We're not trying to force any trade right now. The week is still very young. All right, so I think right now on gold, let me come to the 1-hour time frame. I had this zone marked out previously, I think possibly on the 30 minutes. Yes, so I have this current supply region marked out on the 30 minutes time frame, and it's very, very simple. We're just saying a drops supply region there. I guess for comfortability's sake, we might just mark it out up to the top of that week of the bearish impulsive candle there. So we can have this region. This is coordinate between 3327.84 and 3321.94. That's the coordinates, at least on my chart. Or you can also verify values might differ based off of your brokers, but this is currently the supply region. I'll be watching out for a possible sell-off again, all right, on gold. And for that to happen, it means I'll be expecting price to give us this sort of movement, and then we get to continue for the bearish drop on gold. I think I'm still quite comfortable with this for the meantime. And again, I have this demand zone. Let me come to the 4-hour or the 2-hour time frame. Yeah, so I have this demand zone marked out here. This is coordinates. I'll give you the reason why I marked out that region anyway. Coordinates between 3289.90 for my demand zone and 3272.02. All right, so like I said, I will explain the reason why exactly I have that demand zone marked out. Now, if you look at my chart right here, you can see that just below this point, we have liquidity lying there, all right, meaning that we have reason for price to decide to come lower and at least sweep, some orders or possibly take some stop losses and whatnot towards that lower end, right? So right now, what I'm just watching out for should be that possibility, but in the eventuality that price doesn't get there, that's why we have this demand zone right now. So if this demand zone still holds up, I think for me anyway, this supply region, the one I mentioned earlier, still seems like a very, very plausible thing. So buy to sell. Right, before I'm looking for buys basically on gold, that's what I'm trying to say right now. Before I'm looking out for some swing buys on gold right now, I want price to at least drop a bit more comfortably into that region. I won't be looking out for buys right now. I think for the meantime, I'm still quite bearish on gold. So we have something like this right now on gold. Right, we have something like this right now on gold. So this is sort of what I'm seeing, overall, and that's what I'm expecting, that bearishness to still play out. And again, like I said, we have liquidity resting towards this downside here, so it's very likely that price might be attracted towards that region. But for this moment, my bias for gold would be a sort of buy to sell. So I want to see this buy still last up to the supply region, then we should get a suitable sell towards the downside. All right, so that's it for gold. I'm very sure that was very, very explanatory. We'll look at GBP USD and Euro USD next. So let's look at GBP USD, or let's start from AD USD rather. So AD USD, Euro USD, GBP USD, and we'll look at USD JPY. Then we'll look at some a bit more random guys next. So AD USD, daily time frame, we look to be sort of bullish. I'm going to be very, very cautious here right now, because on the daily time frame, what I'm seeing here is price might still decide to drop a bit. All right, if at all we're going to continue bullish, the current retracement that is going on, price should still be going towards the downside a little bit more before it gets to its preferred zone for a buy. 4-hour time frame, this is where we are right now. Again, you can see we have a sort of strong consolidation area here. And if you're familiar with supply and demand types, again, you see that this is just a rally-based rally region where we have price currently giving us that reaction for the buys from. So I think right now on AU, we might possibly just get a little bit of a push towards the upside. We have if an FVG left behind, and price might be attracted towards there. Let me delete this and redraw it, please. Price seems to still be attracted towards, or would want to be attracted towards there. All right, and then we might see this. So let's come to the 2-hour time frame. I just want to make sure I can clarify, or I get a good enough clarification on what I am expecting right now. Yes, I think I'm still quite comfortable with this. We have this region as my current supply, so something similar to what we just even saw on gold. We have this region here, all right, as my current supply region. Coordinates between 0.65563 and 0.65449. Again, 0.65563 and 0.65449 will be my supply region here. All right, so I think we should get to see a buy to sell sort of scenario happening on AUD USD this week. I think I can delete this right now. Let me just cross check. So I think I can delete this for the meantime. I just wanted to show you us where we're currently having a reaction from on AUD USD. For my buys, however, on AUD USD, since I've said overall we're still bullish, and right now we're just seeing a little bit of a retracement, at least as far as we can see from the daily time frame perspective. I think we can mark out this region for possible buys. Let me just quickly flip this up and let's see if that sort of falls in line with our key levels. So it sort of still falls in line, right? So this is around 50% of that region that we marked out. I think I'm just going to keep it. And my bias or my reasoning, all right, or the reason why I'm marking out this region again is very, very simple. We have a rally-based rally, demand region right there, and price should still, give us that drop towards that region before we get to see, or we get to have good reasons for some more buys. All right, I think that currently is what I'm seeing on GBP. We have multiple lows around here for price to sweep for liquidity, and I think I think I'm fairly comfortable with this bias for the meantime. So I'm just going to watch out for this playing out during the course of this week. So a buy to sell scenario is what I'm expecting on AUD USD also. So next up, we'll look at Euro USD, then GBP USD, and then we'll take some of the other more common guys. So Euro USD, let's start from the daily also. Euro USD daily time frame will look massively bullish right now. However, it looks like we're seeing a retracement, or rather we're seeing a retracement right now, and that retracement seems to be something that might still go a bit far, might still get a bit of a drop towards the downside. So let's look at it. Or let me mark it up on 4-hour time frame first. This will be the most recent high that was broken on the 4-hour time frame. Right, so this is the most recent high that was broken on the daily time frame rather. This was the most recent high that was taken out on the daily time frame, which is in this case our break of structure. I will come down to the 4-hour time frame to look at that a bit clearly. Let me just appropriate that better. All right, so if we look at that a bit clearly, we have 2 points actually that I can mark out as our POIs, regions I'll be more interested in. I'll be fairly interested in. This is number one. Here is number one, and I think for me, my second POI on this for buys is possibly this second one here. I'm more tempted to mark out the overall region, but I'll just leave it as it is for the meantime. Sorry, just give me a minute. Right, so I'll just leave it as it is for the meantime. So I have 2 POIs that I've marked out here on Euro USD. Now we'll just try our best to look at which one has a higher probability of working. All right, so the first POI, again, we have a rally-based rally demand sitting around there. Still looks very, very possible. You can see that around that base we have good enough consolidation, telling us that there are a lot of activities that were going on there, and I think we might then watch out for the possible buys from there. Let's see on the 2-hour time frame. And again, one of the things I'm sure you know as a trader is that when you mark out your break of structure, especially when you are continuing with the trend, what you should watch out for should be the origin of that move that caused the break of structure. All right, and usually it's just anywhere between anywhere on or before that break of structure. That's why I have this initial POI here and this second POI here. So I think for this second POI, I think I'm just going to expand it to this. I want to use the full candles that we have there. So let's just see. I'm trying to see if we can get anything more to give us that shorty for the overall buys. Let me see. Let's see on the 1-hour time frame Usually on this type of calls, we do our best, or on this type of sessions, we do our best not to um, refine too much. So we don't want to go as low maybe as the 15 or 30 minutes, or most likely just stop on the 1 hour time frame, because we're trying to look at swing ideas, all right, things that we expect to happen throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and sometimes they might even get to span longer than longer than that. Sometimes you might get to see a trade setup that would last for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. All right, so those just those type of things. So because of that, we usually don't go lower than the 1 hour time frame. But let's still see. We have this low, all right, which is currently where price is still struggling at, around there. And again, that's just liquidity. That's just liquidity is sitting right there. If I had to go by what I'm seeing right now, I'll be tempted to watch out for price to still give us a pullback. Something similar to what I said for AU, and I think gold also. I'm very, very tempted to still watch out for a possible pullback, up to here, and then maybe we get to sell again. Yeah, this still seems very plausible from my perspective right now. So supply region currently I'm seeing on EU is between 1.7731 and 1.7628. Again, 1.7731 and 1.7628 is what I'm expecting for sort of buy to sell scenario on Euro USD. Again, we have this low sitting here, which is liquidity basically for us for price to sweep. So I want to see what possibly would happen. Currently, since we've not seen a break below that low, rather, I believe that we should still get to see a comfortable, breakout of, a comfortable push rather towards the upside, towards this demand region. Then we should get to see our sells. So I think I'm fairly okay with this right now. For the buyers on Euro USD, I hope that is clear. Also, quickly let's look at GU. Maybe after GU we'll do USD JPY, and then maybe we'll just take about 5 or 6 more commodities that we feel should give us something good during the course of the week. Right, so this GBP USD on the daily time frame, again, you can see that for a while we've been having this guy continuing bullish, though we might be seeing, or though right now rather we are seeing a sort of retracement on the lower time frames. Let's see. 4 hour time frame. Do we have anyone interested? Sorry, I just saw something on daily time frame that I want to. I'm tempted to mark out one region there, but let's just let's move our eyes from it. But before then, let's see. We had this one, followed by this. Right, so that was our last break of structure. The daily time frame, 4 hour time frame. Let us see. Who shall go for us? Sorry about that. So as I was saying earlier, we have again this region basically is where price is still sort of struggling at, for the consolidation there. We have a breakout block. Not the best example, but still we have one that I think I'll just like to mark out for the meantime. I might delete it in the course of this video, but let's just have it down. All right, and I want to see the possibilities that we might have going on. Price seems to be giving us a sort of push towards the upside, so let's see maybe on a 2 hour time frame we can find where price might be headed to, or heading for, where I might be trying to get to. So I'm just going to mark out as many regions as possible first, and then we would eliminate some of them as we eliminate some of them as we go on, right? So we have one here, we have 2 here. So these are just the basic examples of an order block. Okay, I think we're gonna mark out these 2 guys. I am tempted to mark out this region here, which is also going to be a pivot region, or you can also look at it as a drop-based drop supply region. But let's just have it still. Let's just have this here for the meantime. Yeah, so I think I have these 3 regions. So now I'm just going to do my best to by reasoning, all right, do elimination. All right, so if you did maths when you were not even if you did maths, I'm very sure you all did maths, all right, but there was a process of elimination that we were taught in maths where you look for, you try to get to the answer, but you have many possibilities, so you try to strike out this one cannot be, this one cannot be. So that's basically what I'm going to do right now. I think for the meantime right now, Price should still get to push up. Um, I don't believe this first region here, I don't believe it would hold up. Reason being that for the basic definition of an order block, you want to see the last bearish candle, the last bullish candle before an impulsive move. And it should also be a candle that swept liquidity from previous candles. Alright, and even though this one meets one of them, it might not necessarily be the best. Especially seeing that we're having this sort of jaggedy move around here. I mean this origin here, right? So I just want to watch out for. I'll prefer to hold on to this last one here, right? I'll prefer to hold on to that last region there, and then in that case, this would be sort of an inducement for price. All right, so this would be sort of an inducement here, and then we might get to see, or we should get to see, something like this. So again, something similar to what we've just analyzed on AU and some other guys, AD USD, GBP USD also, sorry, Euro USD also, right? So this GBP USD, and I think this is what I will be watching out for right now. I'm watching out for this right now. So my supply regions, I'll just give us two POIs basically, but POI 1 for my supply region for the sales, 1.36807, between 1.36807 and 1.36653. Again, between 1.36807 and 1.36653. And my second POI for the possible sales would be this one here. I don't like the fact that they're so close to each other, but I am more, I am more tempted to pick this first one, but I'm just having that second one. Then 1.37089 and 1.36874. Those are the coordinates for my second POI. I sincerely still would prefer my first POI, but yeah, so this one I'm currently watching out for on GBP USD right now. If I'm going to continue for buys, we're going to look out for possible buy continuations on this. I saw something right now. I just want to. Did I see it on? Was it on the daily time frame? I saw it on the 4-hour time frame. I was on the daily. I saw the initial point on the daily. But we have this breakout block around there. I think possibly we saw it clear on the 2-hour time frame. But I want to let's just flip this whole region. All right. So that will swing move. So we have the fair value gap left behind would be our focus, which is quite large. So again, this is more or less a swing trade. It is very, very large. Very, very large. So I'm going to delete one of them. So again, we'll just do a little bit of elimination right now. Let me see it on the 1-hour time frame first. All right, good. So I can remove this guy. I believe I can leave this guy out of it. If we come to the daily time frame, I want to just quickly show us something. The reason why I was saying I wanted to mark out something on the daily time frame was because we have this pivot here. Possibly I should use a different rectangle to just show you that we have this huge pivot here. And generally on this call, I don't necessarily expect that you'd be using the daily time frame, order block or a daily time frame zone to trade. I believe that will be a bit far stretch unless you are really, you really have the equity in your accounts for that. That being said, so I think this is what I'm just watching out for right now. We have this very, very, very beautifully used zone here, but I'm not expecting us to use that full zone. So I'm just going to be working with this little guy here for the possible buys on this coordinates for the my demand zone right now between 1.34699 and 1.34172, 1.34699 and 1.34172. But for the meantime, I still want to see price drop a bit more into that region, so I'm not going to be rushing in for buys at this moment. I'm going to be very, very careful. However, if you're on buys before, very, very good for you. I'm very, very happy for you. You can hold that. I'm very sure I feel like you should hold that for a while longer. I believe that you should get to see something good from that. All right, so quickly let's go on. We'll look at USD JPY. I'm doing my best to make this video as short as possible for us because I don't want it to be too long and boring at the end of the day. All right, so USD JPY, let's start from the daily time frame first on USD JPY. Okay. I've had a history with this pair where sometimes I shy away from it during some weeks. Not because I hate it. I prefer it. I don't know if I should call it his brother or his cousin, GBP JPY. Well, there really isn't much of a difference anyway. So we have this here. Now I think going based off of, I don't use it as much anymore. Going based off of I think they call them not that they call them. I know they call them chart patterns. Don't mind me. Right. So going based off of that, I think we have. Is it a descending channel or what? Not channel, sorry. I already forgot what they call these things, a triangle, something. All of those things, but that's not why I'm showing you. I just wanted to show you that in case in case you were interested in those and things like that. I'm not saying that they don't work. I'm just saying I'm not necessarily looking out for them. All right, so we have trend line supports still sort of holding up here. Daily time frame. So let me just quickly check that again. Daily time frame. What are we seeing? Price should continue bearish soon, but it seems like we should still see price should still give us a push for the upside. I still believe that we are slightly bullish right now for the meantime. All right, so going based off of what we can see here, rather, this is very strong resistance. Our price is very close to set resistance right now. All right, I'm actually on this buy. Right now, I got in from the buy around somewhere here, so I'm currently on this buy. I think we should still get to see this buy hold up for a while. I'm very likely going to have to close out of this trade soon. All right, but let's just see this. I want to see if we can first identify a confirmed break of structure, something that we can use to find the last previous break of structure, the last break of structure rather, and then we can pick up from there. But in this case where market structure is not exactly as clear as I would have loved, let me just come to the 1 hour time frame. Okay. There's this, this region here is fairly staring at me. It's just staring at me as, a potential region, but I'm not going to trust it. I'm deciding not to trust it. All right, so we have here, right, that region there, or which is also, still around where we saw the previous resistance. In cases like this, in cases where I feel things are not as clear as I would like, if I can't go too low, I'll just easily drop a fib and sort of try my best to get where I should be expecting price to give us a good enough drop from. Let me show us the fib on a higher time frame so we can mark out the region better. So even though we're looking for buys, since we're seeing that we have a bullish trend line that is still telling us that price is pushing itself towards the upside, something is still pushing price towards the upside. Tempted to mark out this whole FEG here. Give a minute. Right, so we have this here. And one of the things I do usually when I trade like this is that I have the if for example now right now I'm expecting price to still give us maybe a push towards the upside and then break the zone. If this zone gets broken, one of the things that you can do, I'm just telling this as a side note, right? If this zone gets broken, you can just decide to wait out for a break, retest. If you can get a good retest of this zone, you might be able to enter in for scalps, maybe 1:3, 1:5. If you are very diligent enough, you may be able to even get the 1:10 if you go as low as maybe the 3 minutes or maybe even the 5 minutes time frame, depending on how you trade exactly, and depending of course on your lower entry or lower time frame confirmations. But based off of this right now, I'm going to be very cautious, sincerely, with USD JPY. I'm going to be very cautious. I'm watching out for a pullback, for a sell, but I'm not seeing any really clear region for that sell to start. Preferably this will have been a very good region for the sell to start off from. All right, but right now what I'm seeing is that price hasn't still given me any sort of rejection. I've not seen any candle that's telling me though right now we're experiencing some strong rejections from here. What we can see though is that momentum has slowed down, and how we can see that is that you can see that the candles that are currently being formed are shorter, have smaller bodies, as opposed to previously when we had longer bodies or stronger momentum in the market. So it's telling us that possibly the buyers might be getting tired, and then we might get to see the sell. So for now, even though this is going to be my less what's the word, less probable POI, I'll give this initial point where currently we're seeing price at. This is between 145.942 and 145.560 for possible sales off of this. However, if I get to see that break, then I'll just watch out for my buys to last up to here. All right, so I think possibly we might get to see this, right? Possibly we might get to see this. Let me drop this a bit better. All right, but that is taking into account that this zone doesn't hold up. This zone doesn't hold up, because what I'm seeing right now seems like this zone. I'm not too keen on it. I'm sincerely not too keen on it. All right, but this is what I was just watching out for right now on USD JPY. This is what I'm watching out for right now on USD JPY. All right, so we've done gold, we've done GU, we've done EU, we've done AU, we've done UG. All right, so that's about 5 commodities, and we've used about 30 minutes of our time here. So maybe the next few minutes, maybe the next 10-20 minutes, I'll just look at a few of the other guys. I'll maybe just look at GBP, JPY also. Where are you, GG? Did I see something? Sorry, give me a minute. Did I see something on USD card previously? Nothing that was really of interest per se. Fair enough. Well, all right, so let's just go to GJ. So possibly just do GJ. We'll do Euro card, UAUD possibly also. All right. So for GJ, let's see daily time frame. Again, we're quite bullish still. This would be the high for us to take out right now for the point we can, get to say we have a break of structure. This last high here, and price still seems quite bullish. So it's very likely that price will want to take out that high, and immediately price takes out that high, I'm suspecting that we'll have a substantial drop towards the downside. Continuation for the buys. This seems okay. All right, so let's come to the 2-hour time frame. Let's just clarify that on the 2-hour time frame quickly. Right, so we have this. So very likely you might just see a short sweep, or a price just giving us a sweep of this high, before we get to see the drop, and then possibly a continuation towards the upside for the buy. But for right now, let's just leave it as this. Right, for the meantime, let's just leave it here. All right, so this is my current projection on GG. I still want to see price possibly give us a little bit of a buy, then we get to see that retracement for sales. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this on GG. I think I'm very fairly okay with this rather on GG. So before entering for this buys, basically, once I get to see that sweep of that, before I enter for this buys rather, for this buy, before I enter for this buy rather, I'll just want to watch out for possible candle moves, all right, or candle formations when we get to see price come here, because again we have this point here that seems probable. But I'm not so keen on that, because price could easily just sweep this low and then come here, and I believe that this is still more of an interesting region for price to be tempted to use. Right, for price to be tempted to use, we have this that was taken out, this previous high here that was taken out on lower time frame. After this got taken out also, so let's just have it as this for the meantime, expecting price to just give us a clearance of that high, then get to see a good enough drop towards the downside. So that's it for GJ. Let's go to the Euro boys. So let's look at EA and possible Euro card. All right, so this Euro AUD. Sorry, I just heard a plane fly over me, so I had to relax first. You understand? Just had to relax. So I'm back now anyway. So Euro AUD, let us see. So let me go back to the daily time frame. Right, so we have this previous high taken out on the daily time frame. Right, so that region basically is what we're looking at for, or looking at as our break of structure. So let me just clarify that here. And you can see right before that break of structure happened, we have this interesting demand region here. This is on the 4-hour time frame, right? So we have this interesting demand region here. Let's just go to maybe the 2-hour time frame or the 1-hour time frame. Let's see if we can get something a bit clearer, a tad bit clearer. If not, we are possibly going to stick with this, because I think this seems like likely to hold. This seems likely to hold. Trend line support here. Sorry, trend line support there. We have that. Okay. Yeah. So let me just mark out this one also. So this second period I'm marking out is more or less for very lengthy sort of expectational move. So we have this right now. I'm going to go back to the 1 hour. All right, so we have this right now. We have POI 1 here for the buys between 1.79888 and 1.79518. Again, 1.79888 and 1.79518. And second POI, sorry, second POI between 1.77860 and 1.77281 for possible buys of this guy. So I've explained the bias for the first POI for the first region here, the first POI. We simply have just this move that caused that break of structure, as we can see on from the daily time frame to the 4-hour time frame, and we have that demand region that we're watching out for. Alternatively, we might get to see this second POI also play out. But for the meantime, I think for me personally, I'm going to be, because I'm more conservative, I'll be watching out for this second POI to still hold. But it doesn't mean I'm going to ignore this first POI. Basically, if I were you, all right, I would just go to the lower time frames. Like I said, do your best to mark this out on your charts also, if possible. You can just go to lower time frames and look out for your own confirmations, all right, for the entries. And when you see them on the lower time frames, I think you should be able to get at least a few pips from this initial POI that are marked out here. All right, but that basically is what I'm seeing right now on UAD. We've used about 35 minutes right now, so I'm just going to do 2 more commodities, and we'll call it a session, right? And we hope for the best, right? We hope for the best. We know the best is going to happen, but we hope for the best all the same. So let's do Euro card, E card, Euro card, So I have this high here. All right, this point here. Why doesn't it want to come? Okay, right. So we have that there. Let's see 4-hour time frame. There's some temptations I'm seeing on this chart right now. And very, very interesting, anyways. Very, very strongly interesting. Because if at all we're expecting a retracement, and prior to that retracement, we are already seeing a clear sweep break and retest as we are pattern being formed. Right, then we might have the price get to the 0.5 to the 50% of that, something like that. Yeah. So we might actually have price continuing bearish right now. I want to see. Yeah. I think I'm going to hold on to this for the meantime on this guy. So maybe just for the sake of clarity, let me just. Yeah, so we have this region here. Price has already gotten there. Let me make it as accurate as possible. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to make sure the join is as clean and as accurate as possible. So we have this point here. Did price touch it? Yeah, price basically touched that 50%. So I think we can still watch out for this to give us a continuation towards the downside. Look, we could get. I saw the region I wanted to mark. Yeah, so we have this one more immediately here inside of it here. So we see that being our point, or our POI rather. So we can just watch out for this drop or this bearish continuation here. All right, so something like this. So I want to see if we'll possibly be able to get re-entries off of this guy. Re-entries. Possible re-entries here. So you can see that this current demand region is actually where we're getting this current reaction for the bullishness. But I don't see where we can mark out for possible re-entries without going too low. Frankly, I would have marked out this consolidation area, or this area of consolidation rather, that we have inside here. But for this case, let me just go as low as the 30. Let me see if we can mark out anything that might be of interest to us. Nothing too clear for me right now on this guy. Nothing too clear for me right now on this guy. But I have this that I'm going to be watching out for. Yeah, I have this I'm going to be watching out for right now. I'm not going to mark out this full candle here. I'm not going to mark it out. That would have been a good breakout block to some extent, but it doesn't necessarily fit all my criteria for that marking. So I'm going to leave it at that. But I think we can still watch out for a continuation towards the downside, a bearish continuation for the meantime on Euro card. However, what this 1 hour time frame is telling me is giving me some weird vibes. Something like this. All right, so for the meantime, let me just, since we didn't get anyone on the time frame, let's just mark out this region again. Right, so for sales on this guy, if you want to get good, you're looking out for re-entries. I think this is a good enough point to watch out for re-entries from. Let me delete this total region here so that it will be a bit cleaner. Right, so we're looking out for re-entries off of this. Coordinates will be between 1.60487 and 1.60385. Again, 1.60487 and 1.60385. Right, so I think this is where I will probably most likely, most definitely, most assuredly be ending today's session. I want to thank you for joining us for today's market review session at EasyFX Academy. We are going to be having this continuously every Mondays, same time, 2 p.m. West African time, and I'm very sure I'm going to be very honored to see you there. All right, but please do make sure that before taking any of these trades, you practice proper risk management. Also, by all means, you are free to support these with your entry criteria for any of the biases that have been given on this session. All right, and I'm very sure we're going to have a very, very profitable week. See you guys in our coming sessions. Coming soon. This one is it's like a film. Yes, coming soon. All right, so and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I love you guys. Bye bye.